Yeah. Okay, we'll wait for a second to catch up. I wasn't quite ready. I was doing the Coptic stitch, but I wasn't sure if I remembered how to do the reverse or the purl. So I was playing with that, and all of a sudden I looked at the clock and I thought, we're late. But we're here now. I look beautiful. I hope you enjoy it. Peruda's back, I see, by the way. Had to work on related activities the last 2 weekends. Well, we forgive you, but you're here now. No. Let's see what I was going to say. There's others here, too. James was the first one this time. And he is working on... I can't roll it up. Oh, yes, I can. No, for some reason I can't scroll up further, but he's working in... he was doing tatting with a knit stitch, so that would be kind of cool to see. Tatting I've done. Tatting is kind of very closely related or overlaps a little with needle binding because technically you're... What? I got beer for you. You just need a glass. Oh, did I grab the wrong beer?
No, it's fine. I just was looking for the...
Yeah, no, this one you can't have. That's a Christmas beer. You got to save that for when we do this.
For Christmas?
Well, we're going to have Christmas in January. YouTube Christmas beers in January. I found a Karl. If he sits over here, you can see him. You have to come closer to me. I bite.
This seems like a more sensible day to have a Christmas beer than whatever the hell this is.
Yeah, but because we need some more people to drink the Christmas beers because your alcohol level should not be able to tolerate that one alone.
I can drink a beer alone.
Not 24 Christmas beers, though.
But you don't have 24. We have
Not
like
yet,
2.
no. Somebody didn't do their shopping. We have to. Okay, hey, we're going to say hi. So Charlotte and her eggplants are here. Hello, eggplant. James, by the way, happy birthday on Monday. He's got a birthday coming up. So that's good to see. Well, obviously, we're not here on Monday, but did we figure out if we're here on Saturday next week? Let's see. Saturday's the 28th. I don't think that will be any problem whatsoever. So we should be here Saturday next week as well, and same time.
We won't be here, but...
we'll be sending from Celia somewhere in Celia. Might be your childhood bedroom with the Christmas star above the bed.
If we do it at 6 o'clock, it doesn't really matter where we send from because it's going to be as dark as it gets.
It's going to be dark. Let's see. And then Albert is here, and Audra is here, and Anne Moreau is here. Let's see. Susan Youngman, Max, Heidi Lisette is here, Guyul. Audrus is Guyul as well. Roger's here. Roger sent us some pretty fun Viking technical tips that we could use for YouTube, which I believe we might have to take into practice. We'll go into those in a little bit. Garcia is here. Oh, everybody's got rainy weather, it sounds like. Lindsay's here, recovering from cochlear implant surgery. Well, I'm glad we could help you recover, so you take care of you. Oh, wow. That's got to be a bit... That's got to be a rough recovery, though, but you can do this. As long as you have yarn and you can swing your arm. Albert says he's been given a strong Carlsberg by Dad. So, yes, Albert has realized how he's supposed to join us for YouTube. If you don't have needle binding in your hand, you have to have a beer, apparently. So, soon I'll give Karl a beer.
The trick is to be too drunk to fact check us.
Yeah, too drunk to fact check us. Everything we say is 100% true. I know, because... I play a Viking for a living, so clearly I know everything. And so do you. No, but you actually do know quite a bit, but you're a guide.
No, but we try to be mostly correct.
Yeah.
But
yeah, and so if you haven't met us before, I'm an American, which is why I have this outrageous accent. He's the Norwegian, and he actually doesn't have the typical Norwegian dialect, and we're in Norway. And we both work in a Viking village, but it's extremely black outside because it's, well, pretty far north. And the sun doesn't come up here anymore.
Do you think your subscribers would be more comfortable if I spoke with the more stereotypical Norwegian accent?
Especially if you pronounce the word two, like two. When I was in Minnesota, we were in Minnesota a couple of months ago. We were just back for a quick trip. A friend of mine picked it up. He said, "Oh, you've got the Minnesota two." And I was, shit. I mean, not the Minnesota, but the Norwegian two. And I thought, no, that's just how we talk in the north. But apparently even the northern Minnesotans think I have a dialect.
You're too Minnesotan for the Minnesotans.
Too Minnesotan for the Minnesotans. No, but I have now officially lived here 2 years longer than I have lived in the United States. How's that for weird? Yeah, I did put a little pin out there. I didn't want to put it in descriptions too much because I didn't want to be writing on the shirt tails, but Nancy Frey. If you know who she is and remember her from chat, she's been with us for at least 2 years anyway, and she joins in every week or she watches later. But anyway, she's a needlebinder, an American a reenactor, Viking reenactor as well, and she's always been really positive and really happy, but she has sadly passed away. You can look on her Facebook profile if you like. There is one public post on there, which is a GoFundMe for her family. So I don't know if I can post links in there because I remember that PJ was having issues posting a link, and since it's a financial link, I'll let you do the homework yourself. But anyway, you can go and look it up and read the GoFundMe and everything that happened. But we will miss her. She's always been really, really positive every week. So it's like, it's Nancy. So our hearts go out to her family. That was a bit of a surprise. She was here last week, so that was a bit of a surprise to read. So I need to get Karl a beer so he can drown his misery. But do you want to start with the Rakfisk beer because we got a hold of Rakfisk?
Yeah, if you're going to have the Rakfisk, then I should probably have the Rakfisk bear for that.
I need you to get me a pretty plate. No, you can just, I think we can just use the packaging. But we'll need probably a little knife to cut it. You probably need some Dijon mustard. We have some of the onions in the window you can bring, but then we need something to cut it with. This is all you're doing. And we forgot to get lefse for this. We have rugbrød in the cupboard. And maybe some mayonnaise. We're going to do this all wrong. So 2 weeks ago we were prepared for this, but we couldn't find the Rakfisk. Today, this time we got the Rakfisk, but we forgot all the other crap that we're supposed to have with it in order to do the Norwegian tradition correctly. But anyway, Karl will bring it forward. And then Albert has pointed out, Albert, he's in chat there somewhere, called Alder Cover. He pointed out that there is a beer that is specifically designed to be had with Rakfisk. And that's what that is. It's, what is Rakfisk? It's something fish, but I don't even know if you can translate rock. But it's rotten fish. That's what we're gonna eat. We're gonna eat rotten fish. Somebody decided it would be a great idea to bury it for a long period of time so that we could have it at Christmas in Norway. I actually really like it. So, but even a lot of the Norwegians are kind of like, so, but I really like it. Anyway, so Karl's gonna get to try his beer.
How about
the onion?
No, you talked about bread.
The bread. If you go in the cupboard with the sauces on the left, there's like a little plastic, looks like crackers. It's just plastic. There's no packaging around it except for the plastic. Hopefully it's still good. I have no idea how long that's been in there, but that is the only cracker bread type substance we have in the house right now. And I don't know if we dare eat the rotten fish without a base. There you go. Wangensten Rakfisk. It says Rakfisk etter, in my great Norwegian dialect, American dialect. Rakfisk etter gammel oppskrift, salte og modne for å få fram den beste smaken og konsistensen. Rakfisk is after an old recipe, salted and aged in order to get the best taste and consistency. Yep, that's the closest thing I have. Rugbrød, which is like rye crisps. Yeah. But it still feels like it's got crunch to it at least. So it'll definitely be
kind of flatbread.
It's some sort of flat. Yeah, it's rye bread. I usually have this one with bacon, bacon pate, liver pate. It works great in a Viking village. You just put this weird pate on the liver pate on there with some bacon bits on one of these things. And anyway, it's a way to eat in front of the tourists without looking too modern. But they're good. But I've had this for God knows how long, so I hope this is still good. But it feels at least like it's not gone soft. What are you looking for?
My belt with the knife on it.
You're looking for your belt with a knife on it. Is it here? You need me. I know where your stuff is. Yesterday he couldn't find his pants and I almost didn't tell him. I thought it would be fun for you to go to work without pants. This is Karl. Viking men came on white long show. Came in the night on ships. How's that go? Roger, tell us you know this line, Roger. Roger pays more attention to your tour than I do. That's bad. Come over here. Okay, do we have something to... No, I guess we can just...
I didn't find the onion thing you were talking about.
No, it's in the window in a jar. It's just regrowing. It's spring onion.
Ah.
You should probably get it. He needs me. He just doesn't know it. Your time to complain would be now.
Yeah.
So anyway, this is usually really expensive. That's why we got a really small package. And usually I would buy this when it's like really close to the due date. Then they make everything half price. But so this little package here, if I remember correctly, was like 140 kroner. Yep, that's the spring onion. You just put it in a jar and it keeps growing. See? There we go. Ta-da! We need the green tops, although this one looks like it's probably getting a little done. But anyway, then you'll have a little something on there. Did you get mayonnaise?
No mayonnaise.
No mayonnaise? I need mayonnaise with my Rakfisk.
Do we even have mayonnaise?
Yeah. There's some with lemon in it, too. You get the lemon mayonnaise. We need mayonnaise. Charlotte's watching. So the background about that one is we have a German Viking who comes to the village every year. His name is Holger Brauman. He is also the slave trader because it's a dirty job, but somebody has to do it. In the Viking Age, they had slave trading, so he represents it. But he just can't pronounce mayonnaise to save his life, so he says mayonnaise. And of course, there's somebody he relates to he calls a troll, which is a lady who was really happy with mayonnaise. So we call her the mayonnaise troll. There you go. Charlotte is happy. Poor Karl. He just when he thought he could sit. I just need you to get. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, Rakfisk. Do you want to do a real quick rundown of what that is for the people who haven't watched the last 2 weeks?
And basically, it's fish fermented in its own enzymes.
Yeah. And how many of the Norwegians do you think actually like it?
I have no idea. I've never tasted it.
Yeah, no. This is the one strange Norwegian food we have not. Every December, like for maybe the 3 or 4 weeks in December, we do strange Norwegian food. And then we started running out of the strange stuff. We were going to try to do smalahove, the sheep's head. We forgot. Maybe we do that for your father. Does he like...
He would eat it, obviously. But...
I wonder if my kids would eat that. I don't think they've ever seen that, even because they're living in the east part of Norway. And smalahove, or the sheep's head, is the west part of Norway.
I'm more skeptical about.
Yeah.
My sister and her boyfriend probably would eat it.
We'd have to have it on the 28th, though, and they'd be traveled by then, I think.
But we'll see.
We'll see. We'll see. Maybe we can, maybe we can't. But anyway, otherwise, if you look back at previous years, the month of December, there's usually some strange Norwegian food that we've been doing. And we've done just about everything to the point where we started moving on to the really good stuff, the cookies and the things we liked. So, but this one, Rakfisk, was the one that we didn't get a hold of because it was always sold out by the time we got to it. So, it's supposed to be a potato lefse. Raymond made it! He's got the toothpicks in his eyes. Michelle Lind is here as well. She was the one that was feeling compassion for you and having to get up every 5 seconds. And then Nolvia's here. Honey, where are my pants? Do you want to tell me what happened that morning why you couldn't find your pants?
I had no problem finding my pants, Oma.
After I showed you. Here's your pants.
You were just confused because I was dressing in an unusual order by putting on my
tunics. He was 100% Viking. He had everything on, including his shoes and socks, but no pants.
I have put my shoes on as soon as I get up anyway, because the first thing I do is to go outside and have a cigarette.
Yeah. Take one. They're a little semi-stale. But, flatbread, right. Okay, and then, you're going to have your Rakfisk beer. This is by, Valdres. Stark Earl it's a strong beer from Valdres, but I don't think Stark Earl actually directly translates to strong beer. What does that mean?
It's 6%, so yes, it is a strong beer.
Oh, okay. I thought that was like a special term for that. Let's see. What else have we got in here? Raymond says, I'm not sure I want to know about all the eggplant emoji further back in the chat. You can't say hi to Charlotte without introducing an eggplant or two. She likes the eggplant. What can I say? I don't know when that happened. I think the first time she came out, I think it's because of all the innuendos. And so when she came on YouTube anyway, she was laughing so hard at the innuendos that she put an eggplant up there. And ever since then, she cannot say hi without an eggplant. So whenever we see Charlotte, we want to throw eggplants at her. It's not a good thing, but it's... But yeah, not for kids, says Audra. Yep, we're bad. No, this is not for kids. Kids can, they click on it if they want to, but it says not for kids. Another better reason, actually, to say that it's not for kids is because then we wouldn't be able to have a chat. That's something that YouTube doesn't allow. How do you... Oh, no, you're not having it yet? You're tasting this with your Rakfisk? Do you want your Dijon?
I would think that would be the purpose of that.
At what point would you like me to remind you that you need a spoon to get the Dijon out of the jar and onto the... Ah, okay. So you have to cut this. We're just going to use this as a cutting board. It looks like it's already sliced. This is the back side, or the side with the skin would normally be here. And the front size. So the fact that it's already sliced is probably a good thing. Do not leak this on the couch. It will reek for years. I'll get you some space here. So we have the stitch of the month is Coptic stitch. I can show you how far. This was the mitten I made the first time. I was only going to make a wrist warmer because I usually hate making the stitch, but I got addicted to it. Normally I would make mittens in tandem, make 2 at a time. And that is so that you get the same size, the same count, and the same, you know, if you have too much rage one week and not enough and you're more relaxed the next week, your stitches will also reflect that. So because I did not work these in tandem, or maybe this just got stretched out more, this one feels slightly tighter. But if I had done them at the same time, that probably wouldn't have happened. I did count the stitches, but it looks like this one is more tight than this one. Always work 2 at a time. Okay, that smells like fish. Okay. Ready?
Yeah.
All right, we have to...
It's already...
Did you open the... No, we gotta open it more. Or we can't get it out. Innuendo? No. Ooh, that does have a smell to it. This does not smell quite like the gravlax that we had last week, which was just simply buried and not aged. I think it's just because of the water slime on it. It's a little jellier.
This is extremely mushy.
Yeah, it's very... You haven't had Rakfisk before?
Nope.
Do you want like a really big piece of it, or do you want like a smaller piece? Because I usually had just like a... Lay it on! Okay. And before you dip this thing into the mustard, I'm going to put one on mine, but I'm going to have smaller ones. Because that's how I had it the first time. I had it in these little bite-sized pieces. So... I was at a party, a work party, and my boss, who is from Durbach, she had like these little pieces, smaller cracker than that, like that, and you had like a little bit of onion. You could also use regular onion too, and a little bit of mustard on them. This is like the one time I actually usually like mustard, so let's put a little onion with it. Yep. I don't know if I want mine with mayonnaise. Maybe. I'll do both. We actually, this is mayonnaise in a squeeze tube. And it's not open. It's a brand new one. And I just smeared fish juice all over it. Okay. Let's see if we can find the one food that Karl won't eat. I remember liking this anyway, so I hope I don't ruin it.
If you can eat it, then I can eat it.
Do you want a piece of onion on there?
Yeah, I will.
You're supposed to have onion. Crap's sake, it's all sitting at the bottom. There we go. The cats are fighting again. Well, not fighting, but they're gleaming, meaning wrestling.
One cat is fighting and one cat is running away.
Okay. Bottoms up. Maybe I should have it with me. Okay.
Mayonnaise.
No, you got mustard on there. You don't need mayonnaise if you have mayonnaise. Now I'm saying mayonnaise. You don't need mayonnaise if you want everything. You're just gonna ruin your first experience here. A Norwegian who has not had Rakfisk. This is a historical moment. You're how old? 49? Yeah. All right. Is the Rakfisk smoked like smoked salmon?
No, it isn't.
I don't think this one is.
It's...
The one I had last week. Well, no, actually, the one we had last week wasn't
to
on
put
YouTube.
it like that, if I understand the process correctly, you could say that it has been boiled on room temperature for a year.
It's going to be real good. All right, let's see. Oh, you're getting all the fish. Now I see why it's cut up in bites, because it won't break. It's like the consistency of an earthworm. What do you think? You have to have the Rakfisk beer with it. Don't forget the beer. And does it enhance the flavor of the Rakfisk? I think mayonnaise is fine on mine. I don't think I'd want to eat it without a cracker, though. But no, I like this.
The
Earthworm
mustard-
textured fish is the best.
The mustard and the onion is what I taste mostly.
That might be the mayonnaise.
The mayonnaise isn't really that strong tasting either, but I can barely taste the fish.
But the flatbread is getting on the old side. So it would be better with potato lefse. Or even just a regular salt cracker. But I don't think I would eat it with... I don't think it would be as good without the cracker, but definitely have too much cracker. Now, without the mayonnaise.
Yeah, this beer is pretty much exactly what I expected. It's a little bit better than I expected, but...
Yeah, because what was in the beer? You said you didn't think you would like it, but we have to try it because, one, Albert recommended it, or said he had heard about it, and it was just too perfect that it is meant to be with Rakfisk, and we were going to have Rakfisk. It's brewed brygger på godt håndverk og lagspel med de underjordiske. Så sent som på 1800-tallet trodde folk at det var en del underjordiske som gav alkoholen i ølet. Ja, en kunne se dess i bruse og boblene. Det er nynorsk nå. Alt med gjet ei hyllest til disse små vesene. Do you want to translate that?
Even into the 1800s, people believed that there were subterranean supernatural creatures that put alcohol in the beer. And this beer is made as a tribute to these small creatures. I forgot something in there, but...
Underjordiska källor. Vesene. No.
Yeah, underground basement dwelling creatures.
Which should go great with your underground basement dwelling fish. 6% alcohol. So this is not a sober day for Karl either. Let's see. The kitty cat wants a taste. No, even the cats won't touch this. I had smoked salmon last week. It was end up in the discount bin. I'm like, woo! But you got to eat it right away. So we couldn't save that one for you. Or you got to freeze it. But anyway, so I had that, and the cats were kind of sniffing around because there was fish there, but it's a smoked fish, and it's actually very oily looking at too. But so I put the skin part down on the ground that they wouldn't even lick it. Not even gonna. They were not interested in it.
That's a funny thing with these cats, because they understand that if something is on a plate, it's not theirs.
Yeah.
So they will still be on your lap and they will climb all over you, but they won't touch food on your lap. And they're usually very good at it, even if it is something they like. The one thing I've seen that basically breaks their behavior is dried fish.
Yeah.
Particularly Silly is so mad about dried fish that any kind of restraint goes completely out the window as soon as I have it.
That's not Dijon mustard. Oh yeah, you just got the wrong mustard. That's why.
Yeah, I told you so.
Not with mustard. Don't have it with that mustard. I had it the first time I ever had it was with Dijon mustard, and I thought, holy crap, maybe I like it, but it was Dijon. But that tastes like vinegar. That one. And it's a Norwegian one too, the Idun. So this name brand also makes ketchup. And I could never understand how, in America they would put, some people would put ketchup on eggs, they'd put ketchup on their macaroni, they'd put ketchup on everything, and I couldn't figure it out. But then I realized it's because I'm having Heinz, and it's a very vinegary tasting ketchup. But the one in Idun in Norway, and Sweden has one called Felix, and that one is like really good on eggs and everything, but it doesn't have... I figured out what it was. It was the American ketchups tend to be more vinegary, and so maybe that's... Idun decided to fight back and take the vinegar out of the ketchup and put it in their mustard, because this is disgusting. It's all for you. Okay, I gotta catch up on chat a little bit. PJ says, I love smoked salmon, and that looks gorgeous. It's just a little... It's like the consistency of an earthworm. I'm not kidding. I have no better or worse way to describe it. But it's the one that we had last week, of course, it's just, or 2 weeks ago anyway, it was just regular, well, it's gravlax anyway, but it was salmon, but you can get sliced salmon, you can get sliced salmon, you get a smoked salmon, but this one was a berried salmon and it had dill on it. But the slices look the same. The smoked salmon tends to look more oily. But this one has a really different consistency. It just I don't know. It looks almost the same on TV, but it's or on computer or whatever you're watching on. But it's
No, it's
But it's good with the mayonnaise.
extremely salty.
Yeah, there's salt in it, but it's not overdone. Like you guys, when you make was it peanut shirt? There's so much salt in that.
And this is saltier than peanut shirt, at least
Really?
as it is served.
Peanut shirt. I almost have to like take all the salt out of it to eat it.
And you might have been sitting too close to one of my family members. They use so much salt that you get salt on their neighbor's plate.
They do. We have like Ordal amounts of pepper. It's not like a teaspoon of pepper or an eighth of a teaspoon or a tablespoon. It's an Ordal amount of pepper.
No, when you add,
Why did you eat earthworms? Okay. Once I was a kid. No, but I used to dig them up and collect them, and I put them in a Cool Whip container, and was the coolest thing. And then I forgot them on the front steps in the sun, but I poked little holes in the lid so they could breathe, but it did not look pretty the next day. You didn't play with earthworms when you were caterpillars. We used to collect those too.
Yeah, but I didn't collect them.
We need a paper towel. No, I don't know. I don't know. I was a kid. Once I was a kid. I was a tomboy. Do you need paper towel?
No, I don't.
You got the good kind, the one with pictures.
Just in case I need one.
Yeah. No, it's just slimy and I don't want to touch my computer without it. When did I eat earthworms? No, I never ate an earthworm, to be honest. But I did used to play with them, and it's just... Max says, I think salt can preserve the taste and enhance the flavor. That's probably, well, I like it, so that must be a good thing. But I like that this was already in slices, because I didn't know that I didn't know this one came in slices. But they're like a chunk slice, not like a long slice, which is the other ones.
If you want to take several hundred kroners for a few grams of fish, the least you can do is to cut it into slices.
So now the beer. Would you have that beer without the Rakfisk? And do you like? Does it do anything with the Rakfisk?
That's what I meant when I said it was exactly what I
have to go wash my hands before touching my
because food beer is always more bitter than just enjoyment beer, so to speak.
Yeah.
So it's like I wouldn't say a pilsner. It almost tastes like a Belgian beer, but much more bitter than they normally are.
Cat's pooped on the floor. The one that just does not want to learn how to use the toilet. The new kitty stand. Anyway, I almost stepped in it in my socks. So, shall we? Well, actually, do you want to? I was going to say we'll check the rest of chat here. Drea's here. Says salt cannot be the only thing magically keeping the fish kept in quote the danger zone temp-wise for a year. With intensive question marks.
The way I understand it is that it is either buried or in some other way kept away from oxygen. So it's not decomposition, it's something, there is another term for it. But it's basically when something basically just dissolves because it contains things that makes it dissolve.
Yeah.
And it hasn't dissolved fully. But this is not boiled or smoked or anything like that. It's just salted and then buried or something.
Yeah. Max says, don't get me wrong. Oh, so Max says, actually go a little bit further up. I think it's kind of split. There it is. I mean that salmon is pretty good. Is pretty good for sushi and stuff, which it is actually. Yeah, you have sashimi, which is just a slice of, I think it could be any fish, but oftentimes it's salmon, and then you have the salmon on top of those nigiri rolls, if I remember. I mean, I might be getting the names of the sushi wrong. I don't know. I just eat it. But I don't know what it's called. I just eat it. But they'll have like pieces of salmon on top. And if it's just the salmon and nothing else, that would be the sashimi. We went to a really, really good sushi restaurant in Bergen. We should probably try to do that. But oh my God, it was like you could feed an entire family in a poor district for what we had for just like 15 slices. It's expensive as hell.
You could feed an entire family in Gudvangen for like 2 or 3 days.
Yeah, with that. That was a bit better way of saying it, yeah.
It was expensive, but it's like...
But the taste was amazing. It was like a trip around... And literally, I've never thought I'd say that about food. It was like a trip around the world. Yeah.
I'm not really a sushi type of person. I am an omnivore. I eat everything, but sushi is...
not something you say, I need that.
It's like a Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. It's so good, but people think it's so good.
Oh, but it is so good. Okay. But that one was really good. But it was like you would wait like 15 minutes and they bring out this little tray with 4 teeny tiny pieces of fish. And you think, and a little thing of soy sauce or whatever, and it's got some garnish on it, and you're thinking, okay. And then you eat that, and then you take it away, and then you wait another 15 minutes, and they come back with 3 tiny pieces of fish. And you eat that, and then 15 minutes later, and then comes another one with 2 tiny pieces of fish or something. And I think then you get like a little dessert. But that's it. And the whole thing, I think for Karl and I, was like 1,500 kroner for the 2 of us. That's not including drinks. It was like insane. But it was so good.
Yeah, no,
I've never, I mean, I usually just get the cheap sushi. That was really good.
But it is, when it comes to the price and quality algorithm, so to speak, the price, I think this is, obviously these are numbers I pull out of my ass, but it's something like for every time the quality improves by 15%, the price doubles.
Yeah, but I don't know what they did to it, but it was good.
Because
let's make some space here.
A 10,000 kroner shotgun is not twice as good as a 5,000 kroner shotgun. It's just a tiny little bit better. Yeah, I don't know why I ended up on shotguns. I think this applies to.
Are you trying to ruin my YouTube again?
No, I'm not.
Break my YouTube. Your name is on it too now.
I could try to just give the recipe for black powder again and see if that was what you did.
Shut it. No, you shall not. No, you shall not. Then they will never ever have any proof of Rakfisk eating. That is good though. We will have that after. I just don't want to get it on my needle binding. Let's see, a little bit more chat. I was just clearing a space for needle binding. Arlene's here. She says, I made it earlier this week. My granddaughter's Christmas shopping. We have to do that. Christmas shopping. We did a little bit, but we got to do more. So tomorrow we're going to go to Bergen, meet my kids, and then stay over, do some Christmas shopping for them at Outland, which is the Geek Gaming Paradise store and manga books and everything. Then we're going to, then we have to go to bed early at a hotel because we have to take a ferry the next day up to Selja. So that'll be quite fun. Let's see. But yeah, we have to do some Christmas shopping there too.
And just for the Norwegians in the chat, when she is saying ferry, she means the express boat.
It's a ferry. This ferry this ferry doesn't have cars on it though, does it?
No, it doesn't.
No.
And that's the distinction a Norwegian person would make on a ferry. A ferry takes cars.
Yeah.
Boat doesn't. And this is a boat.
Ah,
it's an express boat.
Well, it's a passenger boat.
Yeah.
You put people on it. Lots of people. I was going to catch up a bit more in chat. Roger says, Winnie the Pooh style, shirt cocking it. That was with you and you. You would look like Winnie the Pooh. You did look like Winnie the Pooh. Like kind of like Donald Duck walking around with a shirt and no pants. Thumbs up. Yes. Oh, and Roger had a really good tip for us. He sent us a video in case the gimbal, that's the thing that's holding up the camera right now. And if I move the gimbal, it doesn't make it go too fast or too shaky. It just holds it straight. So, but what happens if our gimbal breaks again and you're staring at my ceiling? He has a backup plan, a Viking friendly plan. So we think that the Vikings, he thinks anyway, that the Vikings would take a chicken. Because you can, come here, cat.
A cat does not work like that.
Nope. Okay, so imagine this was a chicken. When you lift, get your claw out of my shirt there. When you lift the cat or the chicken this way, whatever, and you notice the cat's hair, the cat's head is flying everywhere. It's not working. He's just basically focusing on the fish. But if this was a chicken, everything would move but the head. And I don't know if Roger can find the link, but you've got to see that one. But you just have to put a camera, the phone, on the head of the chicken, and you can just move it around. And it'll gimbal. And your camera
have you seen the YouTube?
It'll stay level. This is Godzilla, by the way.
Have you seen the YouTube films of the guy who puts the little camera on his cat?
Yeah. Actually, I have, but a long time ago.
The cat runs out, runs under the hedge, runs into the neighbor's garden, beats up their cat. Then he sits in the field and licks himself for a little bit. Then he just sniffs things and goes home. But it's all seen from the cat's perspective, so it's pretty cool.
Yeah. That I've seen that, but that's been years ago since I've seen that one. That's been around a while then. Or okay, anyway, so yeah, so that was the thing. So when this doesn't work, and then he said, and then when the chicken doesn't work anymore, you can just eat it. Which we would. And we have what, like 25 chickens now or something like that now. So we have an unlimited supply of chicken Viking friendly gimbals. I thought that was hilarious. That was a funny video. Apparently they were trying to film themselves surfing or jet skiing or whatever, and then there's the chicken on the boat. You know, the body's moving, but the head is not. It was funny. Those kind of, they do look like graham crackers, but they taste nothing like graham crackers. That was the one actually that I was telling you about when we had s'mores, that the graham crackers would be the right way to do it. But we don't have graham crackers in Norway, but they're basically they're almost like a cookie tasting cracker with some cinnamon and sugar on it if you get the cinnamon one. This one is just flatbread with rye. But
this tastes very close to cardboard.
It is very close to cardboard, but boy, if you don't have a good movement the next day, I don't know. In our age, fiber is a thing. Okay. Let's see. The cats may take an interest in your fish snacks, says Novia. Yeah, so far they're pretty good, but I think they know this has been buried and has the consistency of an earthworm.
I don't think they would be interested because they are pretty picky. And even if you give them freshly boiled whitefish, which all cats love, these two dickwads will just go and sniff it and lick it for a long time, and then maybe silly will eat it later.
Well, I was just waving him above it, and he's just looking like this, going... I don't think he's gonna touch it. Now he's over there cleaning his face. Let's see that we read. Oops. Nikki's here. She says, "Yep, good day, mate." And New Zealand, yeah. Kira's here from Kira Ora from New Zealand. Must be Sunday morning there, yeah. And then so now you're not the only one in upside down land, Raymond. You've got a friend.
Is that New Zealandish for hello?
Yeah, maybe.
Kiroara.
Oh, Peruta found the chicken gimbal movie. So if you're in the chat, you can go and look. You can find the YouTube at the gimbal short. It was so funny. He also sent you some videos. Did you get to read through them of the Thule Indian?
No, I haven't seen.
No, that one we have. It was a lot longer to look at anyway. But he said some videos to look at about where the Vikings and the Indians may have met up in Canada. Back was the Saga of the Eric the Red. Back then. Wow, cardboard gluten-free will rival that, says Nikki. What do you think?
I don't think it's gluten-free. I think it's pretty chock full of gluten if I'm to take a wild stab in the dark.
You're putting a rather healthy, generous amount of vinegar mustard on that. Does it taste better that way? Does it?
I don't know. I'm experimenting and doing.
You're still doing the mayonnaise.
Of course.
Mayonnaise. Oh, dishwasher's done. Okay, Raymond says, more nutrition in the box than there is in the crackers. He's not wrong. Then hopefully no red dye number 5 in the print. Max says, sadly I can't eat black licorice due to my medicine for my kidney transplant. If you had it, let me know, how does it taste and what is your opinion like? I think we actually did black licorice one year at Christmas time because it's the Americans, when we think of licorice, oftentimes we'll think of the red cherry vines, and you don't really get those here. That's something we should have got you in the United States. I don't really see red licorice here. The closest you think is these like Swedish fish that are little red gummies, and it's not licorice. But you have black licorice here. But the black licorice tastes a little bit different here than it does over there. And now you have like a lot of black licorice here, and some of it you like to dip in salt or the salmiak flavored black.
That's Swedish thing.
Yeah, but you see it all over on the shelves here too. My ex used to eat it a lot too. You like the black licorice. That is one black licorice. That's one of the ways to keep me out of your candy stash. Put black licorice in it. So that one I actually will not eat because I don't like it.
In the twist package, for instance.
No, that one's got chocolate. Twist packages. They're like little wrapped candy, and they have all kinds of different flavors. But that one
It's
is
a stick of black.
yeah, but it's got chocolate with it.
Not in that. Everything is individually wrapped, and in that wrap you only find licorice.
Yeah, no, this is just there's one I think called Fisherman we had. Let's see if I can find it. Fisherman Licorice is licorice. That's Fisherman's Friends, but I thought they had another one. Fisherman Friend, they're little packages of mints. So they have one that's salmiak flavor. There's one salmiak and raspberry.
That's not licorice.
And there's a licorice. No, but that's flavored mints. But that's not the one I was thinking of. There's another. Let's see. But that one is one that has that salmiak flavor as well. Oh, here you got the Panda soft fresh licorice.
This isn't particularly good, but it's very addictive.
It is, and if you save me one piece, I'll be happy. We gotta make dinner after this anyway. But there you can see, if you Google Lakris, Lakris, you'll see a whole bunch of the ones that we have here or they have in Sweden. But sometimes they have, see they're salted too, the Panda ones. Doc even comes in, yeah, I absolutely don't like it. So that one I've had it enough. But it's, but you liked it. Anyway.
Yeah,
my ex-husband liked it too. The Norwegians love it. We put sugar in everything, they put licorice.
I'm an omnivore. I eat everything. But when it comes to candy, the thing I like the least is probably caramel.
I love caramel.
The thing with caramel, and particularly the Norwegian version, is that it is so bloody hard. It takes like forever.
Oh,
to eat
that's like that's like a toffee kind of thing. Yeah, not the liquidy kind. Let's see. Wow, cardboard gluten-free will rival that. That one we read. That was funny. But yeah. By the thing with careful with the fish. If you've got an allergy, don't touch it. Yes, Karl, it's Maori for hello. It actually means be well. This is Nikki. Oh, yeah, but the camera would move around searching for seeds. That she's actually right about. And one the other thing, too, is the chickens, they see out of the side of their eyes. You know, I mean, they don't have their eyes here. They have their eyes here. So that might not focus on you. That's a good point for the chicken gimbal. Prudis says, black licorice is the best. I like it sweet or salty. Oh, you'll have a great time at the grocery store here. They have lots of licorice. Okay, I should clear some space. And I can show you some things I did not wash off my table, so it doesn't look too pretty, but will live. Let's see. And if I move the gimbal a bit, you just have to stare closely at Karl while I move my button box that I'm using as a underneath. I did get you another beer, by the way, if you want that at any time. Veltein's Pilsner. You've had this one for a while, too, so we will use the shirt sleeve to wipe the dust off the top.
I think I'd rather have that one.
We do actually have paper towels. I'm a bad person.
A Pilsner is a Pilsner is a Pilsner.
Yeah, but that was the Christmas one. We were saving that for Christmas.
But if you're anyway buying a calendar with 24 bears in it, then I think I can have this one.
This is why I don't let Karl pick out the beer that he can have. He's going to have this one. So, okay, you can try a Christmas beer. We should probably taste a Christmas beer for before Christmas. Yeah. So it says nice, but would that be nice? It's a nice chauffeur, whatever.
It's Belgian, so
it
would be either French or Flemish.
I was going to say, because Nice is a city in France, but yeah, maybe. Oh, yeah, it is a Belgian one. But
how to pick bear.
Belga. No, you bought this one. He bought this. Didn't I pick this one up? I remember we were at the liquor store, and I was grabbing all the ones we hadn't tasted before.
I tried to be finished before she got there. So I picked out the ones that looked drinkable, and then she picked up another 4 bears that are somewhere in the box.
The Christmas ones that you hadn't tried yet in previous years.
Yeah.
This is one of them, but I don't know. Maybe you did pick it up because it was in the Belgian, anything with a Belgian flag.
If I did try it before, it was in the day when we were in the chieftain hall, when everybody was drunk out of their head.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't remember that I've tried it before, and then I can try it again.
Yeah. And they unfortunately did not have Lithuanian beer in the beer section. It was a disappointment. So 10%.
There is one bear over there that is Lithuanian, I think.
In the liquor store?
No,
in the box. No, you save that one for after. The YouTube one is as well. Anyway, you can have that one after. But the YouTube ones, we try to focus on the ones he hasn't had before. And then Audra sends him Lithuanian beer and says, Karl can have it on YouTube if he wants to. So sometimes he does. Let's see. I'll just have to move the fish before it ends up on the floor. Okay, and if I can do this, and we can see my mess and art supplies. There we go. Okay, there's my messy table I didn't have time to clean off today. Will it focusing here? Maybe I do have to have this on the table level. Okay, I use my button box right now to hold this. Let's see if I turn it. That might be better. There we go. Okay, and some Christmas tape we've been wrapping. Okay, so somebody posted, I don't know how to pronounce her name, so I'm not going to, but I think she's Den of an Allbound Tiger on Instagram. She does absolutely wonderful test pieces with needle binding and takes it to a whole new level. I can see she gets a lot of inspiration from crochet, which is what I do as well. But they were doing one called the Hourglass Stitch, and she posted a video of how to do that, actually 2 videos, one of how to start it and one of how to do it. And I thought, I have to try this. I've actually never tried the Hourglass Stitch before. We can feature this as a stitch the month later, as I finished it off. So for part of my stash busting, I made a hat, but I really, really don't like the way it looks. It's not, compare it to my other needle binding when this is also stitch. This is not blocked. Neither one of them are steam blocked, but this one looks so nice and tidy, and this one looks like I'm having problems finding my gauge because it's exactly what that is. This is not a thumb stitch. And I can tell I had issues trying to find my gauge, and I stupidly decided to do a round start, which didn't turn out great.
Stupidly?
Yeah, I should have just done a tube when I'm learning a new stitch, but no, I want to do a round stitch, a round start, but I had to change the yarn I was using to a thicker yarn just to get used to it. It actually is quite nice, but I really, really, really want to steam block this. This is the technical right side. It would actually be this way. We can hold it down there. Oops. To see it better. But I kind of like the technical wrong side on this. The technical right side is the side that faces you while you needle bind. This, there we go, is the wrong side. But you can see, if you're to the trained eye, you can see that my rows are thick and thin and thick and thin and thick and thin. It does. It's almost like a Danish stitch, but with one extra turn, with one turn. I think the Danish stitch has no turn, and then this one does. You go like this way, and then you pull the yarn through, and then you go back another way and pull the yarn through. But you don't do it around your thumb. But I do kind of like that it has like this basket weave look on this side. But what I don't like is my gauge is wonky. It's all over the place. It's bumpy. It's tight, thin, whatever. And same on this. This is why I actually like working off my thumb. No, you do not have to work off your thumb. But the reason I like working off my thumb, or at least tensioning to a needle, is because my rows, like this one, they look much more even, because it's always the stitch is always the width of my thumb or the width of the needle. But in this case, it's freehand, so it looks like it's all over the place. I'm sure if I can tell from this part of the hat, it looks worse. But as I get to this part, it starts looking a little bit more even. So if I keep doing this, I will find my gauge. I did not weave in my yarn very well. But I will steam block this. It also has extreme amount of stretch to it, by the way. It really does. It stretches like the Danish stitches do. But I will steam block this, and I think I will like it more. Not only that, it will bring it to its actual size instead of having it sit. But I think if all these stitches were steamed, I mean, it almost looks better already just by doing that. But if they're steam blocked into place, I think I would like the stitch a lot more. That being said, it was a lot of fun to do it. I was addicted to doing the stitch. So, and also I couldn't stop doing it because I used my stash busting yarn for this. This is 1.5. Well, this is not a full one, but 1.5 of these is what's in this hat. So about 75 grams, I guess. Yeah, this is a 50-gram ball or skein. So I would probably try it again, but the reason I don't like it is because I have not practiced it enough to have a good gauge. I don't like that it doesn't look even, and I hate when my work looks uneven and lumpy. So, but there you go. I am a human. I don't win every time either, but I think I had to finish it because it's my stash busting yarn, and then I committed to finishing it. I can't just have a stash busting swatch. I have to have the yarn or a finished project. So I finished a hat, and I will steam block it, and we can do that in a future week or something, or I'll post it and it'll look better. But I'm convinced it will look better anyway. But right now, I don't like the way it turned out, and I wouldn't make these again because I like it when my work looks nice and even. But if you like the Coptic stitch, this is a good one to try. I don't think there is a video on Lock and Top, but there is a video on the Nalbinding group on Facebook. You have a huge chunk of mayonnaise on your beard, Carl. There you go. He got it. Anyway, but that one could be a fun one to try. Maybe we can try that in January. But I did it. I finished something. Yay. And now I only have 2 skeins of this and a little bit of gray yarn left, which it's over here. I have 2, this one's almost full, but 2 of these and 1 of these left in my stash busting. And if I use that up by the end of the year, I will have actually done my goal. So I'm very happy about that. But, okay, so then there was this one was actually not part of my stash busting yarn. So I gave myself extra work and did more projects. Let's see, this is the Coptic stitch though. It actually goes this way when I'm working at it because I do it upside down. And it looks like knitting through the back loop because you can see it's twisted. And I did actually do a little piece of knitting through the back loop. It's identical. If you're going this way, you would have to knit through the back loop, and then if you're doing a flat piece, you would have to purl through the back loop as well, and then every stitch will twist, because with knitting, it goes like this, your loops. But with this stitch, Coptic stitch, it goes like that. So that was the only one I've ever been able to replicate with a knitting needle. But you do have to pull the yarn through all the work when needle binding it. So I can splice on some yarn and show you how I did that. Which I should have done before. Are you trying the new beer?
This is the new beer.
Okay, I'll get my yarn ready. Let's see, I'll flip this here. You tell them about your new beer while I get my yarn attached.
I sneakily tasted it a little bit.
The Christmas one.
This is bloody brilliant. It's
the nice Belgian one. What does Anne say about that, by the way? She says French pronunciation. So there was nice. They eat the last of their letters, their words.
Nick Chauffeur?
Chauffeur? We go with
Nick
that one.
Chauffeur?
I don't know. Nikki says it's super cute, by the way.
So Santa Driver?
Michelle says, I never liked the taste of anise. I didn't either. That's why I don't like licorice. The closest I like is there's some Danish cookies that are made with, they're like pepperkakket or gingerbread, but they're made with anise.
Oh.
That one's actually pretty good.
I think
they're called licorice strips.
Have I told you the story about the first time I was properly drunk in Sogndal?
I have to hear this again anyway, but tell me, I'm not sure you have so many properly drunk stories.
Back in 2000 or 2001.
Yeah?
And my sister Hannah has been to Greece and bought a big bottle of Ouzo.
Are you going to get in trouble with Hannah for telling the story?
I know, this is me being an idiot, not her.
Okay, you may continue.
And Ouzo tastes like...
Ouzo?
It has a very strong anise taste, and it is very strong. And I decided, no, I don't want to drink straight up liquor because then I will get too drunk. So I tried to mix it with practically everything under the sun. The thing is, you can't mix it with anything but water, and water is the one thing I didn't think about.
Uh-oh.
So I might drink after drink after drink, where I put in a generous splash of Ouzo, and then I add something.
Yeah.
And then it turns out to taste horrible. So I just drink it in one shot, and then I try again. And again.
You idiot.
And again.
How old were you?
This 2001. 26.
That's pretty old for a Norwegian drinker. You should know better.
But I clearly didn't. One of the last memories I have this day is that I'm leaning against one of the light poles. So I'm right exactly in the part of the road where it is actually lit. I'm not in the dark corners that you have like hundreds of. And I'm peeing into the road instead of peeing the other way. And that is so comically stupid. Then I wake up the next morning, and I wake up because my phone is ringing.
Were you in the road still?
No, I'm back in my flat.
Oh, you made it home. Okay.
And I have a horrible headache. My phone is ringing, and I have no recollection. I have no idea how I got there. So I start going through my pockets, and I find a concert ticket. okay. So I was on a concert. Not something I usually do, but fine. And then I answer my phone, and it's my father. And he says, were you drunk last night? And I just said, no, I was out.
Liar, liar. No,
I
you're
was,
26. You can be drunk.
I was drinking a little bit, but nothing got out of hand. And then he kind of dryly says, well, that doesn't really fit with my notes. Because
I love your father.
at 2 a.m., I was called up by some girls, I don't remember their names, and I said that I found you outside of gardener's shop, and asked me, and I found my number because you had saved me as dad. And then they called me and asked, do you have a very skinny son?
A very skinny.
Yes, he's in Sogndal, yes. Do you know where he lives? Because we can't talk to him because he just rambles.
You do that when you're sober, too.
So my father remembered where I lived and told them, okay, he lives in this student housing thing. Just put him back in his bed. And I was in Sogndal for maybe 8 years after this. And I still have no idea which girls put me in a taxi, drove me home, got me back to my flat, and probably physically put me into bed.
Do you ever, like, pass women on the street that kind of give you this look?
All women gives me that look when
I know,
pass
that's
them
true.
on the
I give
street.
you that look, too. Okay.
So, yeah. No, that...
What's the tie-in with that story and that beer?
No, it's just tying to your comments about honest taste.
Oh, yeah.
This beer is good, though. But I won't get... Unless I have like 16 of this, I'm not going to that level.
That other one, the Rakfisk one, was 6%, and that one is 10%. And we've not been on for an hour yet. If we have, then I got to go overtime.
Here is the thing.
Yeah.
The trick is to always be with a girl who knows where you live.
I know where he lives. I know where he keeps his pants and his belt. You need me. You need me.
So much easier this way.
I know a skinny guy. Okay. What do you have me saved in under as your phone, by the way?
I think you're just saved as Karl.
Yeah, you're saved as Karl. I thought it was kind of funny because my kids, it might be like a new thing, but a new generation thing that they save the names
long
different.
before I developed any kind of devious plans.
Long before COVID hit, shall we say? No, I thought it was kind of funny. My kids are twins, and one of them has got some rather unique names. They've been saving people under different names on their phone, which is kind of funny because I never thought of doing that, but their generation does anyway. So then you've got one of them is referring to her sister as her womb mate. I think I'm the parental unit, and right now they're at their father's for the school year, so he's in there as the landlord, and this is the other one. So the other twin has her sister in the phone as leftovers. No, unfinished dinner. Because they're in vitro twins. So they were followed well into before they were even in there. But we could see that one twin attached before the other one did, because it was a little bit bigger all the time. And so then the first time we had an ultrasound unit to see that they're actually in there, and you can see that one twin is smaller than the other one. One looks like a gummy bear, the other one looks like a gumdrop. And it's either that one of them attached a week later, or the other one is the gummy bear might be eating the gumdrop, or no, absorbing the gumdrop anyway. But this stuck with twin number 2, because that happens to be the gummy bear, and twin number 2, so she calls her unfinished dinner. These are my kids. Yeah. The names of these twins shall renamed nameless. Oh, there was a comment in there I gotta see. Michelle said, I only have my husband's lost without my wife. I like that. Lost without my wife on the phone. That's awesome. I
had
Nolvia says, always be the girl who knows where your pants are. Always be with a girl who knows where your pants are.
Yeah, that's a good life advice. There was one guy I went to school with, and I didn't talk to him for 8 years. And 8 years later, he calls me and tries to get me to invest money in some kind of pyramid scheme. So I saved him on my phone as do not answer.
Oh yeah, I have a whole bunch of telephone numbers under the name of spam. Yeah. Okay. Then I can get back to needle binding. Nikki says I'm still struggling to brain Coptic. Hourglass sounds like I will be struggling. Yeah, Hourglass had me struggling a little bit at first too. So that's why I changed my yarn. Because the first, no, I actually changed my yarn twice. I did it with one, I tried to do it with one stitch and I was getting messed up. So I went with a thicker yarn that looked more like what she used in the video, and it was getting stuck on stuff. It didn't like it. So I switched to this one. Because by then I'd figured I needed a thicker yarn and something that was a little bit more identifiable or something, not so fuzzy. But it did really wear hard on my yarn, though. The yarn was getting really worn out by the time I would get towards the end of it, so I had to use shorter lengths and splice more often. But it's once you get used to it, I think this one would have been a good one with it. The spin on it is good, and the color change makes it easier to see. But I needed this one for this project. I returned to finish 2+2 in Oslo and just received 4 massive skeins of homespun wool. Oh my god, that's a good thing. Now, finish 2+2 and Oslo are kind of my go-to stitches. Oslo would be finish 1+1, so if you get one, you'll like, if you can get Oslo, you can get the other. Okay.
Oslo is finish 1+1. It's like,
Karl
I
likes
want to find
me.
you in geography every time you speak, woman.
Too bad. Okay, so now, this one I like to do upside down. Karl's an innuendo. I've had a lot of beer land. Okay, so you can see this. Okay, and he's going to love this. This is the hole you've been in. His eyes are as big as lamplights. This is the post that I've been around. He's just kidding. I can't do this anymore. He's giggling over there and eating all the Rakfisk. Clearly not as bad as some people would think that fish is. But we're going to go around. See this row here? We're going to go around the row like that. Oops, there you go. So you're kind of, this is the last one you've looped around, so you have to loop through this one. So you go in this way, around the post there and out. So it's kind of like going around an X. I have to cough, sorry. I like to do this upside down because this is a bit awkward for me. Karl, stop it. There you go. And however tight you tension it, you have to do it that every time. I like to work on it upside down, which would mean you have to kind of uncurl it a bit. It's very curly. This is the post I've been around, so now I have to go around this one. It kind of whips up. So there. And through that. And then pull. But I've noticed, because I like to do it upside down, holding it like this is... because I like to do it upside down, holding it like this is quite awkward. There he is. Are you having fun? Which was your favorite part of the Coptic stitch? You got mayonnaise everywhere.
I'm sure it's very Coptic.
Very Coptic. Okay. So back to our... You never knew that Nalbinding was so provocative, did you? Okay. So I have to make it easier. I roll this up. I don't even know how the hell I did a whole hat like this, but I roll it like that, and then I can hold it this way. That makes it a bit easier for me. Okay, but to stretch the stitches out so you can see. There, this one, this post I've been on. Got a little fingernail today, that's good. So I've already been through this loop one way, so now I have to go through the next one, which is this one that's kind of floating up here. I don't know if let the camera adjust. Like that one. And then you're going under, basically under the braid that you have there. And then pull through. And I always have my yarn underneath. You can actually do a stitch where your yarn is over instead of underneath, and it'll just have a different look.
Yeah. As far as I understand, that's how Holger does it too.
Yeah, Holger likes to tie knots.
He goes under the braid and pulls through.
Under the braid and pulls through. Holger likes braids. He worships the goddess of braid pulling. This is regular Coptic, so this would be the one that looks like a purl stitch, or purl stitch through the back loop. I mean, a knit stitch through the back loop. I mean, in knitting, it looks like the knit stitch if you're a knitter. So it's like stockinette, like that. Okay, but then what if you want to do purl? So we haven't done that this week yet, so we're going to do that. And I even showed that you can do it with a fat needle. But right before we started, I think I ripped my yarn, so I have to splice. Let's see, we'll get all this out of the way. I have to hug the camera for this, and I end up screaming into the microphone. Oh, we did bring the microphones back, but we didn't get to test them, so hopefully we'll have a chance to test those before we get to next week. I was thinking, because we were talking about doing some footage while we're on the ferry boat. So we might have a surprise live. You have to be subscribed and hit notifications to find to catch that one if we do it. That would be on Sunday.
Yeah.
Sunday, I think our ferry leaves around 4:30 maybe. So it'd be sometime after that.
This is the darkest part.
Well, we would be on there at the time. We would normally be on YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the darkest.
Monday. Sorry, go ahead.
Yes, but this is the darkest part of the year, so I don't think any part of the ferry trip is
No.
or the express boat trip is actually going to be.
No, maybe on the way back, on the second, third, first.
Oh yeah, that's big.
That one we might see.
Well, if we travel in the morning, definitely yes. Then the whole trip is in daylight.
Yeah.
But 4:30 is probably already dark in Bergen.
I think so. Yeah. They have at least the sun hits Bergen, but you have mayonnaise all over your mouth.
But the sun hits Selje too, and Selje is dark at 4:30.
Yeah. No. I was gonna say I think the sun hits it, but it's still dark. We have high mountains around us, so the sun doesn't ever come up here at this time of year.
But we'll see.
But yeah, we will try to film something. We might have to do it online or offline.
Another thing we could.
Yeah.
We just want to basically make footage and then edit and put something together.
Yeah, we can do that. We still have to do that from United States too, by the way.
There is a lot of places in Selje worth seeing.
Yeah.
Most notably the Bloody Monastery, but
that is hard to get to because you have to feel very. It's a cold time of year.
Yes, but we are in the Gulf Stream area of Norway, so the water doesn't really freeze.
Yeah.
If I have a boat that works, I can easily get there.
Yeah.
I've gone there so many times.
Yeah, so that could be a good one.
That's also a thing.
I'll turn it. We can look at him while he talks. Whoop, up my nose.
Generally speaking, I'm of the opinion that driving drunk is one of the more stupid crimes.
We're not doing that.
No,
okay.
You should not do that. It's kind of a risk-benefit ratio. The benefit of driving drunk is so small that it is never anywhere close to justifying the risk. But on the sea, you see, the North Atlantic is a little bit wider than your average Norwegian county road. So it's hard to fuck it up. Since the year 2000, I haven't broken any laws whatsoever. But before that,
yeah,
drunken boating was one of my favorite laws to break.
I'll show you how to increase after, yeah. Continue. Sorry, I was catching my breath.
You want me to increase my drunken boating, woman?
Nikki, I will show you how to increase his drunken boating after. Okay. No, she asks how do you increase, but I will show it up. It's the... Anyway, continue.
And,
oh, yeah, we've gone overtime, but I'll show the we'll keep going.
In the Selje Molle area, there is an island called Silda. That is an island with no ferry and no road connection. So the only way to get there is by boat. And I have a pub called Skjærbuda. And I was the designated driver for my group of friends, and we went there with my boat. And I got so drunk that even though I understand that, okay, I have the whole ocean, I'm not going to hit anything. I was so drunk that I didn't dare to go over the minimum speed.
How old were you when you did this?
I would say 60.
60. Oh my God, I gotta clock you over the head. Okay. Anyway,
the thing is, this pub was kind of idiotically constructed. So it was possible to send one guy in. And then there is a window on the side of the pub where when you lean over a fence and pull your arm out, somebody can hand you a beer. So you can send one guy into the pub to buy beers, and then you can just stand under this window when he sends you out beer after beer after beer. So I was mind-blowingly drunk. And I don't know, the English term I think is idling. When the engine is idling, That's the lowest amount of torque you can have on your engine.
Yep.
Å kjøre på tomgang is the Norwegian word for it.
Driving like in neutral?
You're not in neutral, you're in drive, but you're not putting your foot on the accelerator at all.
Yeah.
So
that's neutral.
I drove home from there on when I was idling, or å kjøre på tomgang, the whole way from Silda to Selje. So I'm just drunkenly holding the handle of my
Not for
outboard.
kids. Do not learn from this idiot.
Do not do this. There are so many things that can go wrong. But
how are you going to crash my YouTube this week?
I'm not actually recommending drunk boating.
Good. Yes, that's idling, says Raymond. Yeah, that's a better word for it.
So I'm driving as slowly as I can. So I'm thinking,
idling as slowly as you can.
I think I'm at about probably like 1/4 of a knot, something like that. I'm marginally faster than if I was rowing the fucking thing. And I'm so drunk that I'm basically going...
You're lucky you didn't drown.
And when I get... Because this takes a while.
Yeah.
To put it bloody mildly. When I get to Selje, it's so drunk that I can't really recognize the area. So... This is Selje Centrum. Next to Selje Centrum, over here, you have the small boat harbor, where I'm supposed to be going, by the way. And over here, you have the beach, and then you have the church over here. And I'm missing my turn off, so I'm not sailing into the small boat harbor. I'm not sailing into the actual harbor. I miss both of them, and I'm sailing around with the Selje sand. I'm going... There is a lot more vegetation here than I thought it would be. So I was at that level of drunk, and what blows my mind is that there were 4 other guys on my boat, and none of them catch my mistake.
Really?
They're all going, arr, arr. None of them noticed that I've done anything wrong. So when I finally occurs to me, oh, wait a minute, that's a beach. I'm on the wrong place. Then I just sneakily turn around and go to the right place. And I never noticed.
I gotta say, it's probably a good thing you have to be 21 to drink in the United States.
In Norway, it's 18 for beer and wine and 21 for hard liquor.
Yeah.
But you don't need hard liquor to reach that level when you are like 16.
No, I mean, before I was 18, the age limit was 18, and they found out that the kids that were oldest in the high school would be buying for the younger kids. But since it became 21, there was nobody even close to that age in high school. Or at least no one smart. So anyway, there's some fun comments here, and I gotta say, Nikki says my friends had twins. One of them was unplanned. That would be no, mine were extremely planned pregnancy, but everyone thought they would be on. But my ex had another child later, though. That one was unplanned.
But if you have twins and just one of them is unplanned, I wonder how you determine which twin wasn't planned.
Yeah. Raymond has 5 nephews and 2 sets of twins. Holy crap. You've got some genes in your family. No, mine are a product of science. So there was, it was a matter of how many are in there. Albert says, I know twins whose each other's contact names are spare parts. I'm going to tell my kids that. I like that.
Makes sense.
And then Raymond and Nikki, so leave it to Australia and New Zealand, who says, Raymond says, I guess do Coptic stitch upside down also, and that's the way that I do it. And then Nikki, New Zealand, chimes in and says, so if you come to New Zealand or Austria, you might do the same stitch the right way up, right? I thought that was awesome. It's the tie-up, says Michelle. Nikki says, how do you increase? I'll show you that in a minute. Pruda says, are you saying that you haven't pirated anything, Karl?
No, why would I?
Because you're a Viking.
No, but since the year 2000, Steam is a thing, and Netflix and so on is a thing. I don't need to pirate anything.
Modern day pirates. Happy Solstice says, Laura.
I have stolen 1 wheelbarrow of gravel. That's it.
16% total history.
That's all I've done. Since in this millennium, that's all I've done.
A wheelbarrow of gravel, actually. Wasn't it Grand Theft?
Grand Theft Gravel.
Grand Theft Gravel.
No, when we were basically finishing off the village so that we were ready to start down there, Duffer told me to fill a hole. And I go, yeah, but we have no gravel.
Innuendos here.
And then I'm told, but the kayak center has gravel. So I just go, okay.
No wonder the kayak center doesn't like
I
us.
could ask, but then again, he didn't specifically tell me to ask. So he probably means that I can just steal the gravel. So I just stole the gravel.
That gravel is actually produced right outside of here anyway, too. So
Yeah, no, Gudvangen produces the gravel.
Gudvangen Stone, yeah, company.
So I told you the story about the reverse cat smuggling, right?
Yes. Oh, God, you're just going to eat YouTube. I'm going to needlebind in front of you for a second, and he's going to do this. And I'm going to give you some more things while you comment in the background. One is Nolvia wants to know if a mermaid swam up and called your dad.
What?
Nolvia says, did a mermaid swim up and call your dad when you were 16 in this adventure?
No, in this particular adventure, my father was thankfully completely unaware, as far as I know, because he is pretty perceptive. So he occasionally catches me on shit I think I got away with. But oh, I'm drunk.
I know. Okay.
But there was something you wanted me to say before I got sidetracked.
You were gonna tell the story of the reverse cat smuggling, but first, wait, hold that. The mermaid and the reverse cat smuggling. Hang on, you can be my background information here. I was gonna say another one is Laura says it's winter solstice. I forgot about that. Happy solstice to you and yours. Rarely catch you live anymore. Sick from work, and Karl is cracking me up. So yes, like welcome back, by the way, Laura. Okay, and then Karl would be a bad pirate, she says. Okay, so I'm going to show one thing, and then you tell your story, because we're on overtime.
Yeah, okay.
And then you can tell it. What? No, you have to wait. Wait 1 second. Hold it. I'll remind you. So, when you want to do a pearl row.
Do you have time for a cigarette?
Nope. Yes. Yes,
Okay.
Go get your cigarette real quick and get the story in your brain. Try not to slur. Oh, I didn't turn my camera.
I don't really need to rehearse.
There we go. Everyone's looking at my nose. Okay, so this would be the stockinette, and this would be the pearl. But as you know, if you did nothing but, when you look at a pearl row from the other side, it looks like stockinette or the regular knit. So what I did here is I started with 16 stitches, which is way too many. I probably could have gotten away with your traditional 8. So I increased on this third row, as I normally would have if it was the first row. And then I did like 2 or 3 more rows, and then I increased again, and I'm not going to increase for a while because it's borderline wavy now, but it's straightening out as long as I watch it. So I'm not increasing every row. I'm increasing like every 4th or 5th row. I think I've increased once here. Maybe you can see if I point with a needle here. Here is where one increase comes in. You can kind of see it actually. There's an increase. And then I increased just before the color changes to brown. So when you have your work, your needle comes here. Your 2 end loops, this is the one you've been around. And this is your next one. You would be, instead of going this way, you would be going this way. And then keep your yarn on top as you pull through. And that's a pearl. But there's an easier way to do it than that. The easier way to do it would be to turn it upside down and just do like you would have done if it was regular. You know, the way you were doing it before. It's just you're doing it on the back, or you're doing it upside down now with the yarn behind and pull through. So that is how you do the pearl stitch. You can either flip your work or you can do it this way too. But this way is actually harder because you've got the bumpy side that you're looking at, so it's hard to see. So that's how I do that. If you want to do an increase, which obviously I can't do right now because it's borderline, it's almost wanting to wave. If it was starting to cone, then I would definitely. This row that I was just spinning, this one here, you can see it goes around that post. So this loop I've actually gone in. This loop I will go through one more time, just like that, and pull through. And then it's almost like you're doing a Danish stitch right there, a simple looping right there. But when you go around the next time, you got to watch for that loop because it's really easy to lose it and miss it. And then so you did an increase, but you didn't actually use the increase. So make sure when you do that, you look for it on the other side as you're needle binding. But yep. And then it's still going to be just over under like that. So you're just basically going around these new posts that you're making. So that is how knit and purl. Okay, Karl, tell your story while I'll do this in front of them. Reverse cat smuggling, Karl, go. Or do you want to start with the mermaid story? We're a massive overtime today.
I don't know if there is a mermaid story, but the reverse cat smuggling story is that my father, this is in the spring of, light winter or spring of 2018. My father wants a Siamese cat. So I say, yes, I can fix that. I thought it was no problem. I can just Google Siamese kittens for sale and find one and buy it. But there was a complete drought of Siamese kittens in Norway, Sweden and Denmark. So there was none available. I tried England, but England is very picky about animals, probably because of mad cow disease. So it's very difficult to get an animal out of England. So in the end, after very much Googling, I find a guy in Switzerland that has Siamese kittens for sale. So I go to my bosses and say that, okay, I have bought a kitten. I can get it in the middle of the summer, but I need 5 days in a row of off time to go and get this kitten. This I kind of have to force their hand a little bit because that's the only thing I ask for when it comes to vacation. I need those 5 days. And I forgot about it, so I made a plan without them. And I kind of had to go, I don't care about your plans. I'm going to get that kitten. I'm going to Switzerland. So I go to Switzerland, and I was originally planning to stay in a hotel, but I ended up staying with a cat breeder. And the cat breeder is a charming and funny Swedish guy, Swiss guy, who has a weird fascination for small things. So every time he sees something small, he goes, "Oh, it's so tiny!
Okay,
it's so tiny!"
You actually have to see his face when he does. Go ahead.
It's so tiny! It's so tiny! So he drives me around in Switzerland, and basically I'm sightseeing, and he shows me the places, and he goes, "In this county, there lives like just 900 people. So I will show you their church. It is so tiny, it's so tiny." And then there was, well, what the Swiss consider to be extreme weather, which I would consider to be barely windy. But it's enough that some of his potted plants are blown over. And that causes one of his cats to go into premature labor, and it has kittens. And he goes, "Ah, look at the kittens! They're so tiny, they're so tiny!" And then I pick up the cat and I pay the guy, and he goes, "This cat is expensive. So if you, I paid 1,500 euros for the cat. So if you take it into Norway, you will have to pay pretty substantial tax on the cat. But I can just send the pedigree and all of this in the mail, and then you just tell them that the cat costs like 300 euros and they won't care." And then I buy the cat, and the cat is, it's a nice cat. My father still has it. And I get to the airport, and I get to the place where you go here if you have nothing to declare, and you go here if you have something to declare. And then I start to think, I have done nothing criminal except for stealing a barrel of gravel in this millennium at all. So the first real crime I commit should not be cat smuggling. So I decided to go to I have something to declare piece of the line, and I'm completely honest with them. I said, okay, I bought this cat. Look. It cost me 1,500 euros. How much tax do I owe? Oh, and he goes, do you have a receipt or any evidence that the cost 1,500 euros? Do you bloody think I'm lying to you? I want to pay the tax for this cat. It costs 1,500 euros. And it turned out to be something like 6,000 Norwegian kroner. So it
Yeah.
was expensive, to be honest, in this particular case. But if I'm going to do something criminal in this millennium, it should be something better than cat smuggling.
Yep. By the way, I was just going to say, okay, little tip. I found this out when I went to Sweden for the first time. I had a certain amount of spending money with me, and I didn't keep track of how much of it I had spent on items and how much I had spent on, restaurants or something like that, services. So when I was returning home, I just said, well, this is how much money I spent. So this is probably what I did used. And they said, yeah, but then you probably have to declare it because you've spent over the amount. And okay. So I open it up and I showed the things that I have, and they said, okay, did you buy all these books? And I said, yeah, I was getting books from Sweden because you can't find Swedish books in the United States at the time. They said, but you don't have to declare toll on books. Books are toll free, so you're fine. It's probably just go ahead and go. But there was other things I didn't realize in there. I also bought CDs because you could hear the music. It's in Swedish, and you can read the text, and it was kind of a nice way to help learn Swedish at the time. And I ended up in Norway, but because I had opened the CDs and played them, and because I am wearing the Norwegian sweater I bought in Sweden, which the Norwegian told me was a fake machine knit. Anyway, apparently I did not have to declare toll on the CDs because they were used, or the sweater because it was used. So once the tag is off the item, it is considered used and it is yours, and you no longer have to pay a toll on it. So if your cat was used, you probably wouldn't have had to pay a toll on your cat.
I really wish that there was some kind of clear and concise rules for what you have to pay toll for or what not. Because it is not exactly obvious. Back when I was like a teenager, I ordered 5 swords from Chris Cutlery in California, USA.
Yeah.
And I have no idea what the toll is going to be on this. So I called the toll department in Norway and basically goes, okay, I'm soon going to get a delivery of 5 swords I ordered from America. What's the toll on them? And they basically go, why are you asking us? We have no bloody idea. What are they made of? And I go, probably spring carbon steel. And I go, yeah, okay, in that case, it's like 5%. That's fine. No problem. But I don't know if he is on today, probably not. But me and Torben used to order Warhammer miniatures directly from Games Workshop in England. And sometimes there is an enormous toll on that, and sometimes it's completely fine.
Yeah.
It kind of depends on who is working in the toll department that day, I guess.
Raymond liked the idea of a used cat. Just say, this is the bunny collector. So, actually, there was one more thing I want to show. Oh, we are so over time, but too bad. It's the last one before Christmas. Let's see, turning camera. Okay. Did you notice, because I've changed directions, I flipped this upside down, that I am no longer doing this way. I'm going this way. So you can go right to left or left to right. For some reason, I always went from right to left and you can see that on this one. Here, when I do this, I'm going, it's upside down, but I'm going this way. So right to left. It didn't even dawn on me until the cat smuggling story. And then I'm trying to hold it in so Karl can find out and tell us how tiny it was. But it just suddenly dawned on me that now for this one, I'm going basically left to right until I flip it. But you will get the same result. It's just a different direction. But you can do it both ways then, obviously. And then when I go to switch this, then I'm going to have to start picking up this way again and going like that. Then I'll be turning into this stitch after a while. So that was kind of fun. My cat is used to her. I've had her for a long time, says Nikki. My cat is used. I've had her for a long time. So you could have, because technically you've had that cat for like oops, I almost hit the microphone. For a week. We're looking at the packing mess we have going on over there. So your cat was kind of semi-used? You could have saved 6,000 kroner, Carl.
I could have, and it would have been very easy to trick them. I could just have walked through on the blue side, and it's very unlikely that anybody would have stopped me. But it's a matter of criminal principle.
Yeah.
If I'm to be taken as a criminal, I want to do some proper crime.
Did you have anything to say about the mermaid tail or the mermaid before we went? It was Nolvia's comment. Did a mermaid swim up and call your dad on that boat trip?
No, my parents were pretty smart, and they caught me on a lot of things I did when I was a kid, but not everything I did when I was a kid.
We're going to go visit your dad very soon. I am going to make sure 92 is in about a month. He will be 92 years old, and I'm going to tell Aunt Carl. I'm dating your son, but by the way, did you know?
It's another thing you should know about my father in that case, is that every time I confess something, I go, okay, I did this thing, it's pretty bad. He goes, it's nothing. I did something a lot worse when I was your age.
And he probably did. Your dad.
He did.
Your dad's quite the rebel. I love him.
So when I told him the story about how I was investigated for attempted murder for about a week because of an unlucky shot from firing range, he said, that's nothing. When I was younger than you, I brought a stick of dynamite to school and just hid it under my desk for the whole school day. And on the way home, I just blew up my neighbor's fence.
I'm sorry, what?
He blew up his neighbor's fence.
Okay, we're getting your dad to tell some good stories
with the stick of dynamite.
I liked this one, by the way. Nikki said, no, her cat is used. She's had it for a long time. Her sister-in-law owned the cat first. She's a second-hand cat. You know, the first two cats I had, the one that was called Leftover Cat, he's actually, rest a poos. He was the cat that belonged to my ex's stepsister, and we tried to take the cat in, but because she couldn't take the cat anymore, but the cat didn't want to live with us, so it ended up living across the hall with his mother. So then we go and get a cat, the first Godzilla, or Godzilla the first, and then the cat across the hall, the leftover cat, wanted to come and live with us. So we did have a second-hand cat too. And technically, the cat that we did get was a rescue, or it was a rescue cat. Someone had sent it in. They were dying or something and couldn't take care of the cat. And we got it. So that's also technically a second. You could have had a used cat.
Except for the two Siamese cats. Every cat we've had when I was growing up was some kind of second-hand cat like that.
Yeah.
So it's like my cat had the kittens. Do you want this one? It's the last one. If you don't want it, it is probably going to be put down. And then my father goes, yeah, I could use a cat.
Nolvi asks, by the way, is the Siamese cat very vocal, and does it sit on your dad's shoulders?
It usually sleeps on my dad's lap, and it's not particularly vocal, but it is beyond belief flexible. I've seen this cat.
That cat is really cool. Yeah.
I've seen this cat break the laws of physics pretty much. Because the cat was sitting, we have a fireplace, and the top of the fireplace is about at this level. So this far above the ground. And the cat is sitting with its back to the fireplace. And then it jumps into the air, and it turns around in the air and lands on top of the fireplace. And I can't see how that is physically possible, but I saw the cat do it.
Have I told you about the bread analogy? Okay. Why is it that if you butter a piece of bread or toast and you drop it on accident, or even intentionally, it always lands butter side down? And then why is it, no matter however you throw a cat, it always lands on its feet? So what happens if you butter the backside of a cat and throw it? Does it...
It sounds like a source of infinite energy. It would spin forever.
And I would like to say this thought is originally mine, but no, I think I stole it from Stand By Me or some movie from the 80s, because it always stuck with me. Nikki says, my cat is Tonkinese. She won't shut up. It's a Siamese in her mix. I didn't know what a Tonkinese cat is. I have to look that one up too.
A Siamese cat makes more noise than silly and fuzzy. But Silly and Fuzzy are very silent cats, so it might be that she is actually kind of vocal, but I don't know where the benchmark is here.
Look at the Tonkinese cat. That is beautiful. Google that one if you have. The only thing I would say is, but maybe it's because it's a girl cat. Yours is thinner. But this is not a fat cat. These are just more sturdy.
But she is a girl too, so...
Yeah, but I mean, it just looks like it's like your cat might have or your father's cat might have a thinner bone structure than this one. But they're very, very similar. Very similar indeed. Yeah. She also a more narrow face too. So, you know what though? We are at an hour and a half. Is it an inbreed cat? Oh wait, no, we have to go back a little bit. Tie buttered toast onto a cat and then throw it. We're going to hell. I mean, we're going to hell. It's a good one. I like that. And Nikki says it is an inbred cat, the Siamese cat.
I don't think so.
No, I think you got a purebred.
I have the...
That's why it was so expensive, I think.
I have the actual pedigree of the cat.
Yeah.
And it's... this guy is a serious breeder, so a lot of the ancestors have ribbons from shows. I'm not really into the whole cat show thing, but the breeder clearly is.
Sorry. Yarn. Okay, I know I was draping yarn all over the
as
gimbal.
As far as I remember from reading the pedigree, there isn't any names reoccurring. No? Because if the same guy turns out to be your uncle, your father, and your brother-in-law, then there might be a problem. But I don't remember anything like that, at least for the 8 or so generations that are on the pedigree.
Silk in this one. I have to cut this one. There's silk in it, so it's kind of hard to...
It's weird. This fish thingy isn't particularly good, but it's bloody addictive.
You know, if you want all of it, you can have it. I'll get Rakfisk later this season. Yeah, no, I like it, but you need to eat something. Skinny boy.
She keeps telling me that.
Tonka and Burmese Siamese mix, says Nikki. Tonks are Burmese and Siamese mix. And then Novia says some Siamese cats are cross-eyed. And then when she was talking about inbred, Nikki was when she was saying, "Is the cat inbred?" Get it? Inbred.
Okay.
I didn't even drink it. I'm having too much fun.
She is the one reading the chat. I'm just responding to what she says.
He wouldn't have got it either. That was funny. I like that one. Roger says there are memes that Keanu Reeves is secretly Japanese, Jesus in ancient J art. Karl could be the Norwegian Jesus in Viking art. Oh, I see that. You could.
Have you met Roger?
Roger Stahlheim. He is the one by name is also called Fjallar.
Yeah.
But no, he has only been on the cover of my YouTube once because he had these really big Viking shoes he made.
That guy is enormously much more Jesus-like than I would ever be.
He is. But he's like, you know, sturdy frame, everything. And he's got like the kind of curls sort of going, not massive curls, but oh yeah. And he's very Norwegian in the way he talks. He's always smiling. Yeah. He's cute.
Roger is kind of a funny guy because he's so big and strong.
I would love to have him on YouTube, but he has no time.
He looks like Jesus. And he is so big and strong that he is almost unbeatable in a sword fight. And he's also, because he is considerably bigger than me and has much longer reach, he can do stupid things that shouldn't work, but they work for him. Mm-hmm. So I have actually lost to Roger when he has fought it with his sword inverted. So he's holding his sword like a dagger with the blade down like this. And even then, he has enough range to reach me when I am out of range to reach him.
Nikki says, Google inbred cat.
Holy fuck.
I mean, you gotta Google it yourself, but things I didn't need to know that were on the deep dark web. It won't even has a tail sticking out of it. Who the hell does that to their poor cats? And I hope to God that's AI. Oh, that's awesome. Okay, now I gotta switch my stitch back to the other way. So, Ansa's gotta go. See you next week. Have a nice Christmas. And yeah, it's gotta say goodbye to the other ones that had to leave early because we're now 45 minutes overtime. Do you have any more stories you want to share? It's like it might as well be a Christmas special now because we usually do a 2-hour Christmas beer one, and we didn't do that this year. But we'll do something with Christmas beer in January.
We're going to save some for the next one.
Save some for the next one. Okay.
Because we are traveling tomorrow morning.
Oh!
And right now I'm too drunk to pack.
Yeah, no, well, we have half packed. That's why it looks so bad over there. Audra says, by the way, not agree, and I am actually with Audra on this one. Karl is much more Jesus. But now, remember what we used to have? We used to have like before we got a staff chat properly going or something, or a Freeman chat going for volunteers in the village. You need to have a chat in the village so that you can send a message to every Viking in the village, that they can all get it. Like, okay, hey, we got people filming in the village, etc., whatever. But we decided we needed to have nicknames for the Vikings in the village. And would you like to explain what your nicknames were, you and Rogert?
I don't remember. Roger was Jesus, straight up.
He was Jesus, but he was sexy Jesus. But I think it's because his wife named him.
That's because Marie was the one coming up with
his
the
wife
nickname.
named him.
And I was Creepy Jesus.
You were Creepy Jesus, and
I think
I named you Creepy Jesus.
Ryder was also some kind of Jesus.
He was Hippie Jesus. Oh, Old Jesus. Yeah, he was Old Jesus. I wasn't even dating you when I called you Creepy Jesus, but I always said that it's going to be on Karl's epitaph. Here lies Karl. He was kind of creepy.
Everybody thinks I'm creepy. Not
well,
everybody dates
No, but you are creepy. You even walk creepy. He's only 49. But anyway, I agree with you. Okay, so now I've, by the way, I can show you this too. Since we're on overtime, what the hell, why not? Karl's just going to town on Rakfisk. Bet you didn't know it was going to be that good. It sounds like it's going to go the route of...
It's not good, it's just badly addictive.
It's really good. I like earthworm fish. Oops, there we go again. Okay, I've got like this huge mess going here now. So now I'm flipping directions. So this is technically my wrong side, but I wanted to do a pearl for every brown row, but you can see that it picks up the white on the first row too. If I wanted to avoid that, I would have done one row regular with the brown before switching the stitch. But now I've spliced on new wool, which is kind of hard to pull through. But because I'm switching now, I got to remember that you're grabbing these end loops here. There, because if I try to grab one up here, I could easily grab the wrong loop. So always double check that you're taking the bottom loop, but you're going that way and that way through, just as if you were going through the top. Audra's laughing, by the way. Yeah, no, so Creepy Jesus, Sexy Jesus, and I think Old Jesus we had on there. Ryder hasn't been there since when he was he was in 2021 or did we lose him on COVID? The COVID year, then we didn't have so many tourists.
I think we lost him in 2020, but it wasn't exactly because of COVID.
No, not because of COVID, but because we just, I think he had a different job or something. Because we had him as a summer employee, not a winter employee.
No, he was a broken up.
Was he a winter? I don't know. Oh, he broke himself. He fell off a ladder. But he didn't die. There we go. So then you can see it slowly turning now. So if I keep going that way. But I have to watch it. If I need to do an increase row, which I think I'm pretty much due, it's hard to tell because of this curl. But if I try to lay it flat, I think I am due for an increase row, but maybe I'll increase every 5th or something. And then I'll have to not increase. This whole row, this brown row, I did not increase at all because it didn't need it. But now I can see it might start coning. So I will increase. And then again to increase. You can actually see it much better now because the colors are changing. So this brown loop, you can see the white went around this pole here, this post. So this brown loop has already been in there once with the white, but I'm going to do it again, just like that. That's an increase, but I have to watch for that loop on the way back. I don't want to wrap the yarn around my gimbal or Karl's mustard over there. Can you move the mustard knife? There. So you have it's almost like a simple looping stitch right there. And then you continue. Where's my next one? It's here. And then you continue. And there you have an increase. But again, can't say it enough because this messed me up on one of my tests. When you come back around, you can see that little extra loop gets kind of lost in there. So this one, if I do one more maybe. Let's see there. There. Really long yarn, not a lot of space. I regret doing long pieces of yarn on this because by the time I get the end of it, this yarn, this Lopi spun yarn is real worn out. But there you go. So you can see there you have a loop. There you have a loop. There you have a loop. There's that little hard to see loop. That one that just got separate. And then you have your next loop. So you have to, this one in the middle can get pulled and tucked away because of the other loops, but you just have to keep an eye out for it when you do it. So you remember to increase, and then you can see it starting to flip on the right side now. So anything, mustard stitch. I like that one. So do we have any more, anything else you need out of Karl before we go? Nikki says, I really want to come to your village. My friend lives in Okra, but I'm not sure that Norway is big. Norway's huge. It depends on which way you're going. If you're going to side, you can cover it in 6 hours. But if you're...
It depends on...
depends on where. You sometimes only 1 hour driving.
When it comes to coastline, we are enormous.
Yeah.
When it comes to area, we are pretty big.
Maybe the mustard stitch would be good.
When it comes to inhabitants, we're pretty small.
Yeah.
So it's a matter of perspective, really.
I gotta suspect that New Zealand and Australia must be on a holiday. In case my sound cut out, my kid is calling, so I've got to... Yeah, did you have audio now? Thumbs up? Audio? Just a minute.
We are way over time. Just answer your kid.
Audio now?
We'll talk to these people.
My kid... Okay, yeah, what I'm trying to say is my kid is calling me because she thinks I should be off YouTube now, so I have to go and answer the phone because we're going to meet her train tomorrow. So that's why the sound cut out. But we love you. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Now, I really do have to go, and I probably have to put this one to bed. And Nikki and Raymond, my God, go to bed. We love you. Merry Christmas.
More of this.
You like that shit?
No, not that one. This.
It's a very Belgian Christmas. Choof, she says.
This
niece choof. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays and whatever.
Choof.
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 Oh, I have to put him to bed. Bye.